We're back again. This time we're taking a look at the I.K.S. Rotarran. It's the Klingon ship from Wave 19. And we'll get right in and take a look. Comes with a standard Burrell class dial. Gotten plenty of these in the past. Nothing different there. And there's our Burrell class maneuvers. You can see nothing different from the previous versions. Liking that one tight turn has pretty much everything but the come about in the 2 and everything in the 3. That red come about in there that most of the birds of prey have. Nice maneuverability for the Klingons. Then we have our named I.K.S. Rotarran. Unique Klingon faction. 4 attack, 1 agility, 3 hull, 3 shield. Got 1 tech, 1 weapon, and 2 crew upgrades for 22 points. And evasive, target lock, cloak, and sensor echo for our actions. And the ship's ability is, as an action, you can perform a second maneuver on your maneuver dial with the speed of 1 or 2. Place an auxiliary power token beside your ship, and you cannot attack this round. It's interesting, adds a little bit more maneuverability at the cost of a auxiliary power token. Being able to move twice, though, can get you into a specific position that you need to be in or out of an enemy fire arc, which could save you in the end. And we have our generic Burrell class ship. You lose 1 shield, and you lose the tech upgrade for 20 points. Not sure how that compares to previous Burrells as far as slot loadout goes. Sometimes they're a little different. I forgot to check on that. For captains, we have Martok. Captain skill is 7, 1 elite talent for 4 points. All of your Klingon upgrades cost 1 less point, which is always nice. And as an action, when attacking this round during the roll attack dice step, you may roll 2 less attack dice and add +1 hit result to your roll. If you have only Klingon cards assigned to your ship, roll 1 less attack die instead of 2. Kind of a nice ability, especially if you're running a Klingon pure ship. You're basically guaranteeing yourself a hit every time you attack. If you're running mixed tech, the -2 dice to guarantee a hit, it's kind of hit or miss on there. Definitely interesting. I still think I prefer the one of the previous Martoks over him, but this one's still a interesting option. And Martok comes with a reminder token here for use with Martok, except the reminder token only has the -2 attack +1 hit, where he gains the ability, if you're an all Klingon ship, to do it with only -1. So I'm not sure why. Normally they give you tokens for both, but this time they didn't. And we have our generic Klingon captain. Captain skill of 1 for 0 points. Going to do this one slightly out of order, but next we have Worf. He's actually a crew upgrade for 2 points. He increases your captain skill by 1 or by 3 if it's a Klingon captain. This ability cannot affect himself. If your captain's disabled, discarded, or affected by a critical damage card, treat this card as your captain with a captain skill of 5. If your captain becomes non-disabled or unaffected by the critical damage, that captain card's restored. He's kind of a secondary captain, kind of a nice upgrade. It's iffy if I would take him over the previous Worf, who had a really nice ability, but definitely interesting, especially if you're running an all Klingon ship, to get that +3 to the captain skill. Makes it definitely interesting. And Worf comes with a couple reminder tokens, a +1 to your captain skill for normal use, and a +3 for use when you have a Klingon captain. And Worf also comes with captain tokens, just like a normal captain. For our elite talents, we have alert status 1, 3 points. As an action, discard this card to place a battle station token beside your ship. You cannot perform a battle station action as a free action this round. 3-point discard to get a battle stations is interesting. The fact that you can do this in addition to a normal action definitely is what makes it a little more interesting. I think there's better versions out there. I think Defense Condition 1 is one of them that gives your entire fleet battle stations, if I remember. It's been a while. But this one's still a good option out there. Next we have Supreme Commander for 5 points. As an action, you can discard this card and target one friendly ship within range 1 to 3. Target ship immediately performs a free action from its action bar. If the target ship's a Klingon ship, it will perform any action as a free action. Another nice, I like the Klingon only theme they're going for. Like I said, I mostly play faction pure games, so these kind of cards I really love. The ability to perform free actions is definitely nice. The ability for Klingons to perform any free action is extremely nice. 5 points is a little bit steep, and it takes your action for the turn, but for what it gives you, it definitely has uses and a place in your fleet. Next we have the Day Is Ours for 4 points. During the roll attack dice step, you may discard this card to add 1 critical to your roll. This card may be only purchased for a Klingon captain assigned to a Klingon ship. Again, more faction pure cards, which I like. The basically guaranteed critical is nice for 4 points. Its only real limitation is that it's during the roll attack dice step, not during the modify, so it means you pretty much have to play this before you roll. Would have liked to be during the modify where you could play it after to really see what kind of hit you were getting before you threw this on top, but definitely useful either way. For crew, we have Kornan, 5 points. As an action, discard this card to acquire a target lock on a ship within range 1 to 3 of your ship. Then perform an action on your action bar, not target lock, as a free action. Definitely interesting ability there. 5 point discard, again, as I've said many times in the past, a little expensive, but for the free target lock and the ability to perform something else, like say at battle stations, to really make that fit, definitely interesting. Next we have Tabana, 5 points. As an action, disable this card to repair 1 shield token. In addition, if your ship is cloaked, you may repair 1 damage to your hull. You roll -2 attack dice on all of your attacks this round. It's an interesting ability. Being able to repair is definitely always a good thing. Lowering your attack to do it kind of sucks, but at the same time, you can use it on a turn where you're outside of a fire arc or you're not going to be able to get a shot off anyway, and get a little bit of damage repaired and get yourself back in the fight. Next we have Jedi Attacks for 5 points. You do not pay a faction penalty when assigning this card to a Klingon ship. You may disable this card and spend your scan token to convert one of your battle station results into a hit or an evade. So it can be used for attack or defense, which is nice. Definitely useful there. 5 points for that ability is a little steep because it requires a disable as well. If it didn't have that disable, it would definitely be a must-have. As it is, it's kind of hit or miss depending on what the rest of your build is. And last we have Laskit, 3 points. After you reveal a red maneuver, before you move, you may discard this card to treat that as a green maneuver. If your ship is cloaked when you do this, you may immediately perform a sensor echo as a free action. This is a really nice card on the smaller Bird-of-Prey class ships where you can pull that red come-about maneuver. And discarding him to make that into a green come-about is insanely powerful ability. And then getting that free sensor echo on top of that if you are cloaked. Definitely lots of uses for that one. And lastly, for weapon upgrades, we have Photon Torpedoes, 5 points. Attack value of 5, range 2 to 3. Spend your target lock and place 3 time tokens on this card to perform the attack. And you can convert a battle stations into a crit. Can be fired from front or rear arc. Basically standard Photon Torpedoes with the time token mechanic on there. We've seen them before, but definitely nice. They're slightly better, I think, than the normal disable ones that cost you the action to re-enable. These pretty much automatically re-enable 2 turns after you fire them, so a little bit nicer. Still need to go a long way to make torpedoes really useful, though. For the rest of our expansion, we have our 3 shields. Target lock F3. Now evasive and cloak token. A disable token. Have our critical auxiliary tokens. The 3 time tokens. And the additional rules card for time tokens. Our mission this time is Soldiers of the Empire. This is a smaller game, only 40 points aside. One of them has to be the Rotarran. The other one could be any Dominion ship. And you're basically trying to rescue the crew of the Behemoth, which is what the mission token is to represent that ship. And there's your winning objectives. The ship model is the standard Bird-of-Prey that we've had. And I don't know if they're all like this or it's just mine, but normally they were made out of that greenish copper looking plastic. And this one, I don't know if you can really tell there. This one almost looks like it's actually painted that color instead of molded out of that color plastic. You can almost see brush strokes in here. So I'm not sure if I just got a defective one or if they're all like that, but it's kind of interesting. And the panels on the lower wings are a different color than the panels on the upper wing. Not sure what that is, but maybe it's just mine. Maybe they're all like that. They're trying to differentiate them a little bit, but anyway, again with all the others, all sorts of paneling and things that can be made to stand out with some paint if you're into that kind of thing. I think of most of the ships, these are one of the few that really don't need too terribly much. Just something to darken and dirty them up a little bit and they look fine as far as I'm concerned. Some people are more picky on that stuff. There's our base for the IKS Rotarran. 90-degree front arc, 90-degree rear arc. And there's our base for the generic Burrell class with the same. Overall, it's a nice expansion. Another Burrell class for the Klingons. You can't go wrong. They actually have quite the makings for a Burrell swarm now. Running 5 of those with bare minimum upgrades or 4 with some decent equipment packed on. I've seen quite effective uses out of them. Not quite as durable as some of the larger Klingon ships, but definitely with their maneuverability and some of the upgrades and things you can add on. Definitely have some interesting uses. Of all the Klingon Birds of Prey, though, the Burrell and the Cabort class, I have to say the Rotarran special ability is probably the weakest out there. And of all of them, you're probably not going to choose this one until it's the last option if you're playing a larger game. But still always nice to have another option out there. Definitely would have liked to see a little bit more useful ability out of it, though. The rest of the upgrades are pretty nice. I definitely like this Worf. I'm still not set if I like him better than the previous version. But being able to bump up a Klingon captain +3 is just a ridiculous idea. You put him with Martok here, even the one that comes with this ship, and he's up to a 10. You put him with some of the previous ones. There's a 8 out there. I think there's a 9 Klingon captain somewhere. But in the very least, you're pushing them up above standard Federation captains, unless they have an admiral on board. You finally get a chance to move and shoot first as a Klingon player, which is nice. A lot of faction pure upgrades on here that definitely get bonuses for being on Klingon ships, which I'm a big fan of. Definitely an interesting pack if you're a Klingon player. Again, as I said, the named ship's not all that great, but the upgrades make it definitely worth it. And always having that one extra Burrell available definitely is nice to have options there. So that's it for this one, and we'll see you in the next video.